Hey everybody. Yeah, here's another tactics video. Nothing's changed. So, let's read the board first. I have 6 pawns. He has 5 pawns. He's got 4 minor. He's got all of his pieces. His king's just out in the open. Bit exposed. My king's safe. I am missing a minor piece. So he's up 1 minor piece. I am up 2 pawns. Not a bad place to be. Oh, actually, I guess I'm not up 2 pawns. Am I up 2 pawns? Do I know how to count? 4, 5, compared to 6. Okay, so I'm just up 1 pawn. Yeah, so I'm down 2 points of material. But he has a very exposed king, whereas I feel very, very nice at home. I don't see any kind of immediate threats. There's bishop takes f2, check, but there's multiple ways of taking on f2. And I don't see any way that there would be another immediate force check of any kind, so I'm not too worried about my king. On his side, his king's fairly exposed, and I feel like there's definitely some shenanigans that we can do here. So let's see what we got. This is a check that has a royal fork, but bishop takes e6 there would stop that pretty quickly. This knight is on the diagonal with the king as well, 1 square apart, and so that means there's 2 places to check as well. Obviously knight to e8 doesn't look very good. There's rook takes or queen takes e8, but knight to h5 could potentially be decent. I guess we need to do a bit of calculations. Knight to h5, check. There are multiple places the king can go. I guess a lot of it's blocked off though. Most of the f file, as well as the one square on the 8th rank, he can't really get to. See, actually, he only has 1 place to go. At which point, is there a way to checkmate him? So knight to h5, check, king to h6. That one's guarded by the queen. This knight would be diagonal to king, so it can move to f7, check. He still has the g7 square, however, in that scenario, but I guess that could be met with queen to f6. Oh no, but then there's queen takes f6, so that's no good. So we're thinking check goes here, check goes here. Oh, it can't go there because this knight's taking care of it. Oh, I guess that might be it then. I don't think the king has any flight squares if that happens. So let's take a look again. Knight to h5, check. King goes to h6. And knight to f7, check. Mate. Unless there's something that can block it, there aren't any pieces that can attack that f7 square. So I think that's the way to go. Playing around with knights is very tricky. Reading it is very hard. Right, and then the other flight square would have been blocked by the knight. Visualizing knights, or trying to visualize and explain what the knight's doing, I think is very hard. Even me just visualizing all of the squares that it controlled was very challenging for me. Maybe it's just because it's early in the day. I feel like most pros would be able to find it like this, though. But that's because they're pros. Let's see here. Let's calmly take a look at the board. We're equal on pawns. We're equal on major pieces, and they have 1 more minor piece than we do. The kings are in pretty good setups. I could use a flight square. his pawns are kind of pushing towards me, so my pawn shield might break earlier. All of that looks really strong. The bishop could become really dangerous towards my c pawn as well. That being said, his f pawn is gone, so he's yeah, there's some back rank shenanigans that can go on. Immediate threats? Nothing too bad. Yeah, there's nothing really bad here. The queen can't really attack me. So I'm feeling okay. I have a little bit of time. In a real game, I don't think I'd even think of that with the queen sack, but I guess that's one of the first things you should always think about. So yeah, I think queen sack check, rook takes, and then a bank rank mate looks pretty good. If rook goes back up, then we can do it either way. And that looks pretty good. I don't think there's any way it can be stopped. Takes, goes like this. So let's use the big boy words. Queen takes knight on f7. Rook takes queen on f7. Rook to d8 check. There is one. There are actually two counters, I guess, or two blocks. No, there's a name for this. Two in between? No, that's not the right word. It's just delays, I guess. No, I don't remember what the word is. But yeah, rook to d8 check can be met with queen to d8. Rook takes queen, and then the rook on f7 can go to rook to f8, and then rook takes rook, and that'd be checkmate. And I think those are the only blocks possible here. Blocks? Why does that not sound right now? I don't know. Apologies. Okay. This looks like a favorable position for me. We are up one pawn, and my rooks are on a delicious battery on the e-file. They do have a minor piece over me, and it is hitting my g2 square, which in combination with my queen could become, or their queen can become very deadly. But it's not their turn yet, but that is possibly some kind of threat. A threat of attraction, I guess. They could simplify down and they would be up one bishop, which would be pretty good odds, I'd say. Something like this. I don't know if that's worth it or not. I don't know, but there's possibilities. With that being said, what kind of possibilities do I have? First thing I see is like queen to f6. The e-file is taken. Queen would be taking care of that, so then the king would have to move over there. Another move would be rook to f7. So let's take a look at that first. Queen to f6, check. Rook to f7. Then there would be queen to f8, and I think that's checkmate because this is taken. He can't fly it over here, and he can't go over these two spaces. So yeah, that would be checkmate. The other possibility would be queen to f6, check. King to g8. And then what? And then I guess rook, check. Rook takes, and rook e8 checkmate. Yeah, that looks like it. And I don't think there's any way to stop that either. Okay. Alright. And here we go. Okay, that's very good. Alright, rook takes rook has just happened. But I have a lot of pieces. Oh, no. That's all of white's pieces. Oh my gosh. Okay, well this is a bit more of a pressure situation than I thought it was. First off, let's read the board. We have 4 pawns, they have 3 pawns, I have 2 minor pieces, they have 2 minor pieces, but they also have a major piece. So I'm up a pawn, but they're up a whole major piece. I'm kind of exposed in the bottom. But they don't necessarily have an immediate threat to my king. However, they do have an immediate threat to my other pieces. So if I was playing, I'd probably panic at this point because I'd be like, oh no, I gotta get my queen out of that dangerous situation, but I can't defend my bishop very well because I have 2 attackers on it, is what I'd probably think. Okay. First thing I see is like queen to h2, queen to h2, king to f1, king to f7. I feel like it's flying away though. Fly away! There's queen takes bishop, queen takes queen, g2. Bishop takes, king takes, that's nothing. This seems, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find something, but so many of these squares are defended so well. Queen to h2, check, king to g1, or king to f1, I mean. At that point, something like this or something like this would be nice. Oh my gosh, okay. Queen to h2, king to f1. And then king to h or queen to h1 check. Bishop can't take because bishop has to block for the it's pinned to this bishop on h3. At which point there's nothing to block for the king, and the king is has no flight squares against the queen. Okay. Took me a second, but I got it. You gotta be aware of pins from now on. Now on. As if it wasn't an issue before. Alright, I got my rook taken. This seems to be what's happened. Taking a look at the board though. They have 5 pawns and I have 6 pawns. 2 minor pieces versus 2 minor pieces, and he's up 1 major piece. But yeah, this is a fairly easy puzzle. I forget what type of mate this is, but I'm sure it'll tell us when we solve the puzzle. I guess before we go into finding the mate threat towards him, we should look at the threats to us, this being the obvious one. Queen to d1 check, king moves to g2, queen to e2 check. I guess we can do this. I guess this could have always happened, the rook just blocking. Is it that scary for the king? I guess not. I guess we're not that afraid. The pawn structure leaves me wanting, but it's not that bad. But the mating theme here is just queen takes. Queen takes h7 check, king takes, and then rook. There can be a couple of blocks on the h file, but rook's just gonna take, and then the king doesn't have any flight squares. So that's checkmate. What kind of mate is this? Is this the Anastasia? I don't know. Let's go take a look. Na, na, na. Checkmates. A knight and a rook or a queen team up to trap the elbows between the side of the board and the friendly piece. Is this it? Yeah. Right? Okay. Yeah, I guess this is Anastasia. Huh. I remembered something. Papa! I remembered something, Papa. Alright, well, let's keep on going with the checkmates. Oh, but my thing reset. Oh well. So let's do a mid-session review right now on how I feel about mates. Do I feel like I'm getting quicker? Am I recognizing these better? I recognized the last one pretty quickly, but reading the board is important. I feel like reading the board is really hard though. Especially when you know that it's supposed to be a mate. So maybe moving to like regular puzzles might be better. But for now, I know that I need to work on checkmates more. So I think all I can do is just try to read the board whenever I remember to or feel like it, because I think too much might burn me out. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on enjoying the checkmates. Maybe something nice as a variety might be to just go to the easiest and see how many quickly I can do. That might be kind of fun. Oh, this isn't going well though. Is this it? That looks pretty good. Oh, okay. This is helpful to me? I don't know. Even if I am trying to do it as quickly as I can, I should try to verbalize what I'm doing. Because without doing that, I don't think I'm going to improve very much anyway. So I'm not reading the board necessarily, but rook takes, pawn takes, rook takes h6 check, pawn takes h6, and then queen moves into h7 for checkmate. Yum 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 yum. Okay. Queen to b6 check, king moves either way, and then queen just goes to b2 checkmate. Okay. Queen takes f7 check, and then king goes here. King goes to d8, and then queen takes f8 for a checkmate. Okay. Queen to d3 check. King goes over to c1, queen to c2 checkmate. Okay. Queen takes h7 check, king moves to f8, and then queen will pop up for a checkmate, because the king has no flight squares on the last rank. Oh, this one's trickier. I don't know if I can find the... what is it? Perpetual mate. Let's see. g5. g5 allows for king to go to h5, but then bishop f5 check, f3 check. And king has nowhere to go. Any blockers? No, I guess not. Okay. I thought I was going to have to do something with rook. That's why I was worried. Queen takes g3 check. The only flight square king has is to h1. Then that just looks like checkmate. I don't think there are any blockers or takers. Okay. Okay. Queen to f6 check. King to g8, and then queen to g7 check. Okay. Oh. Okay. This is kind of tricky. Rook to e1. King to d4. Queen to d5. I don't think there's any place left for him to go. Okay. Queen to f2 check. No flight squares here because of the knight. And that just looks like checkmate. Alright. Okay. Queen to c8 check. Queen to c8 check. Rook blocks on b8, and then queen takes queen with a checkmate. Okay. Queen to a6 check. Can't be blocked. And then the king can move to b8, and then a7 or b7 for a checkmate for the queen. That's how notation is read, right? Yeah. No. Ooh, 2 queens. Oh, that's not me. Very sad. Okay. Well, still a checkmate. No flight squares, no way to block except for the bishop, and queen can take the bishop. So, using annotation, it would be queen to d1 check, bishop to c1, queen takes bishop, checkmate. Boop. Oh, and it's a counter block and a... Ooh. That's very cool. If it just didn't lead to that last part. For a second I was thinking rook takes rook, queen takes rook, rook to f3, and then the king has to go back, but there's no actual checkmate, and it can always fly up, so I don't think that's the right way. Yeah, it would be b5, king goes to a5, and then rook takes on a3 for a checkmate. Rook to e2 check, king has to go back to h3, and then rook to h1 checkmate. Okay. Rook takes bishop, f1 check. No flight square, no blockers. What is the king supposed to do here? Just get checkmated? Is that it? Guess so. Alright. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Yeah. g6, check. King has to either go to h8 or h8 or g8. Rook back rank mate, because these two squares would be controlled by the pawn. Oh, and there's a block. Didn't calculate the block. That's not right. Looks like a back rank mate. One block. One block. Okay, that feels better. Am I black? Guess I'm black. What do I see? I'm in the back rank. I can take this pawn. Wait, am I in their back rank? No. Wait, what the fuck is going on? How did this happen? Oh my god, that must have been some weird taking. Okay, well, whatever. That's very confusing. So I can't take this, because then I will be taken. Am I black or am I white? I'm white. Then it's just a checkmate with one rank. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was very confusing. I was very, very confused for a second. I don't know what happened to me. Queen to g6, check. No flight square on d7. No flight square on f7. You can move here, but then queen goes in for the kill on f7. Okay. Looks like a smothered mate. Is it a smothered mate? It is a smothered mate. Ooh. Okay. I'm black this time. Alright, and we know about this pattern. Queen here. Friendly pieces are blocking his flight squares. If somebody ever finds out what this pattern is called, please tell me. We're still looking for the answer. Let's see. Looks like a back rank, forced back rank mate. Rook to e2. King has to move. Then sacrifice the queen. Rook to e1. Rook takes queen. Rook takes rook. That looks pretty good. Okay. One day I'm going to recognize those quickly. I feel like that's one of the first ones I'm going to learn how to recognize, probably. Just seems like one of those that are kind of useful. This looks like a back rank make still, right? Queen to d8. Rook takes queen. Rook takes rook check. Is there anything to block me? No. Alright. It's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, just queen goes onto the back rank. Queen has to block. And then we just take the queen. So queen to c8 check. Oh, queen blocks there. Oh, okay. I guess either would have worked. That's interesting. They surprised me though. So that's strong win. Queen is defended, so queen takes f2 on the f file. King is forced to move, yeah, to h1. Because our bishop controls h2, at which point we can sacrifice our queen on f1. Rook takes queen, rook takes rook. We've seen this before. Okay. Oh, golly dokey. Okay. So let's see here. Bishop to f2 check. Flight square is taken. King can go to either of these places. h1 or to f1, at which point there's rook to e1 check. And looks like there's nothing to block him. Alright. Him? Her? Could be a female rook, I don't know. Them? Knight takes f6 check looks pretty good. Knight takes f6 leads to queen to f8. Queen to h6. No flight square on e7 and no flight square on g7, which looks like checkmate. Alright. Okay, let's just keep on running these back to back, dude, back to back. Just keep on running these. Queen to f2 check. King goes to, or king to h2 check. King goes to f1. Queen to h1 check. King doesn't have the flight square, and there are no blockers, so yeah. Blockers? Distractors is probably the better word, right? I don't know. It's hard to say. This looks like a forced Anastasia mate, right? We go over here, we take control of these squares, king's focused on the h file, and the rook takes. There are no blockers, and so we get that delicious Anastasia. Alright. And since we know it's Anastasia, I can add that. Hee hee hee. I feel proud of myself. Hee hee. Okay. I'm white. This isn't great. This. No, that doesn't work. This would work. But there's an in-between. Seems dangerous. Oh. I guess queen just taking also makes sense. What the hell was I looking at? Jesus. Well, I think I've burned out my brain at this point. I've done enough puzzles now where I just can't seem to handle them. But here's one more. Knight to d7 check. King has to move because the e file flight square is controlled by my rook as well as his rook. So he has to move over there to g8, and then rook takes rook, and that'd be a back rank mate. And there's nothing that can stop my knight from doing this. Nope. And so here we go. Okay. Well, oh, I'm at 1798. I don't think doing these puzzles actually raises my score at all. I was going to say we should do it until 1800, but these are easy puzzles, so of course I wouldn't raise them. But yeah, this was kind of fun. If I didn't have to leave, I'd do more of this. But I think I'm about to just shit myself completely. So I think I'll just stop here for today. It was a pretty good round of puzzles. I'm still not sure the balance of doing quick, easy puzzles to harder puzzles. I think for now, it's still, for me, more about just recognizing these things, just doing them over and over again, and trying to get into good practices while doing them. So that means reading the board and not panicking, and also seeing myself in these situations. Another thing that I wanted to try, actually, at some point is start a puzzle, do a puzzle, and then go back like a couple more moves and see if there's something that I can do. If I see things like this, right? This kind of tactic. And then do the puzzle again. Kind of study what's going on in a game, which might not be a bad idea. So before I take a puzzle, to go back a couple moves to watch the game and then try to figure things out. That might be actually very good exercise for me, so that'll be something we'll think about in a later episode, if I remember to, which I probably won't. And nobody's going to see this anyway. If you did, thanks for watching, and yeah, expect more chess tactic puzzle videos in the future. Goodbye.